Hey, Hound Dogs, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
I'm Trevor
I'm
Hankins.
Rachel. I'm Rachel Wells.
And I'm Julie Cannon.
And you're on the air with Power Squared. This
Sorry, I
time,
jumped the gun.
yeah, this week it's Comic Book Club number 6, and it is Stray Dogs that we'll be talking about. So,
Yes. Suggested by Trevor.
Trevor, Trevor,
Yes.
why did you suggest Stray Dogs?
Like, elaborate why?
When when I stumbled upon it, I went into it basically blind.
Mm-hmm.
And I was I couldn't, when I read it, I couldn't put it down, and then I was like, guys, you gotta read this book.
It's like you have suffered as I have suffered.
I was the same way. I read it in 2 sittings.
And what did you
I
think?
liked it.
Okay.
I thought it was super. I can't say I've read a comic quite like this one. It is described on the front by Forbes as, what do you get when you crossbreed Silence of the Lambs with All Dogs Go to Heaven? Well, you get stray dogs.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's pretty accurate. For any, as a good, it serves as a good warning for anyone who's interested in reading this. I guess the idea is that they're like cute Disney style dogs, but it's actually a very horrifying like story. It's got like, can you call it a twist when they hint at it really strongly? But
Thriller.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
it's a
thriller.
horror story told with cute Disney style characters, which I find a very interesting dichotomy.
Yeah, I thought the contrast actually worked really well.
Yeah.
Yes.
You wouldn't expect looking at the pictures that what it's about.
Yeah.
I will say, like, the first few pages threw me in for a loop. At first, I thought it was like the perspective of a dog, and when I saw like the tiny doge, I was like, okay, everything to a tiny dog is scary. That's understandable. And then the more you read, you're just like, I'm sorry, what? I think we know which page I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it
Like-
does do a good job of portraying things from the dog's point of view, especially
sure.
the main character Sophie is a very small dog, and everything around her is very large and strange and scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that was a fun show. No.
Well, I mean, as we talked about, the art kind of lulls you into a false sense of security, but then at the same time, it's a very expressive style.
But as Rachel pointed out, though, it does really hit. They all had female owners, if they
Yeah.
remember them, and
Yeah.
suddenly they wake up here, and
Yeah.
So yeah.
I will say
It
though,
really is actually, for people who don't mind spoilers, it really is actually just if Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs had a bunch of dogs. That's basically the plot. I'm sorry, Julia, go on.
oh, you're good. Don't worry about it. I feel like it was. I will say that it's one of those books where I did have to flip through the pages a couple back just because of like I was paying attention to what like the dogs were saying in general, but then a lot of stuff like started looking familiar in the background. So I had to keep on like. Did you guys have to keep on flipping to the page? Like, wait a minute, why does this look familiar? What is going? And then you start putting two and two together. We're seeing things in the perspective of, like, sorry for spoilers. We're seeing things in the perspective of dogs, but is that the thing we should also like? Is that the only thing we should be paying attention to?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at it. So like I had to like track like a bunch of times. Like once I got to the end, I had to like skim through the pages again, and I'm just like, oh wait, oh no, this is wait a second. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is happening.
One thing that was interesting is how the issues are all named after dog commands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Appropriate
Okay.
ones.
All right. Like.
Well, let's see.
Well, chapter 2 is stay.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just flipping through it.
So-
Chapter 3 is lie down.
Yeah. And chapter 4 is Play Dead.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Is that the one where we?
And chapter 5 is Bad Dog.
Oh.
Yeah. That.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. It was.
Oh yeah, chapter 1 is Good Girl.
Yeah. The thing that got me the most was when what happens to the Dalmatian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And seeing that from the dog's perspective is like, that's
They killed the dog.
yeah.
They killed the dog. Y'all know there's a website
Well, they
for
more than just
it's like a
killed the dog.
database for whether they kill the dog in a movie.
Yeah, does the dog die?
So like, yeah, does the dog die? So you can check in advance before you watch a movie. Do they kill the dog?
So like Old Yeller is like, no.
Yeah.
Spoiler: the dog dies. No, but that was
Who's talking?
whoever wants to talk. Go ahead.
I'll admit, the Dalmatian character, because well, as I was reading it, I initially didn't notice that he only had 3 legs, so that became important to the story. I looked back and saw, oh, he does have 3 legs.
That happened to me too, actually.
I don't think I actually.
That's
Noticed.
true.
I
I
didn't
noticed that
register
early
first.
on, and I was like, oh, I wonder how he lost his leg. And then it tells us, and I was like, oh, thanks, comic.
I like how
Let's see.
what you would think of as the firemen's, Dalmatians are associated with firemen, and he knows how to dial the phone for 911.
Yeah.
I don't know, that got me. He's like, no, he knows.
And the short. And the
I want to know how many fire stations in America have a Dalmatian.
I don't know, and I don't know if that's just something you hear about in folklore or that really happens.
Where did that even come from, I wonder? Well, I'll have to look into that after the show.
I want to say there are fire stations that actually do.
Too. Yeah, I know.
There must be at least
I think
one.
Julia's looking it up now.
No, I'm not.
So what are you looking up?
Fire call Dalmatians are also used to guard horses.
I guess.
Yeah.
I thought it would be an easy Google search. I was wrong.
I guess because, firemen used to take horses, I guess.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Before they had cars or
idea.
motors, they would take horses.
Because
Wow, isn't it?
it's because Dalmatians can actually get kind of aggressive, if I recall.
I thought they were also kind of deaf. That's
They probably have genetic issues.
because I thought that's why they
least
could
some
be
of
on
them.
why they could be on a fire truck where the sirens are going and not freak out. It's because they couldn't hear it.
That's an interesting theory, maybe.
Well, why don't you look that up, Julia? Our Dalmatian's deaf. Thanks.
While you're at it.
Wait, what was the question? Dalmatian.
Our Dalmatian's deaf.
I like how the first thing that pops up is all Dalmatians mean.
I have heard Dalmatians but I've met some pretty nice Dalmatians.
Okay,
They
so
can be good boys and girls.
Okay.
Yeah, so according to the Louisiana State University, 8% of all Dalmatians are bilaterally deaf and 22% are unliterally deaf. 30%
Unilaterally.
Thank you. I can't word. I can't word, I'm sorry. A 30% total with some deafness as a result. So, yes and no?
Okay, well, but,
Yeah.
I was gonna say
obscure fact.
I assume it comes from the breeding.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes, probably. That's...
Talking about the comic.
Oh, back to the story we're talking about. Okay.
I mean, it's
Talk
still
about
about dogs. I mean,
Yeah.
dogs are still part of the story. We're talking about
My
dogs.
main-
Bugs.
My main issue with this story is that there's just not enough of it. I mean, I get, you can only put so many issues in a trade paperback, or, and I'm sure, I know there's another one, I know they tell more story, but, there's, I think I counted 10 dogs in this cast, and we only really get to know like one, two, or three of them. Earl definitely got the best development out of all of them. We get to see his past, we get to see into his mind, and he like makes a sacrifice,
Yeah.
which is makes you love him. But I feel like the rest of them, I don't even know I don't even remember the names of the other characters, because you don't really get to know them very well, and it's kind of a shame because I'm sure they could all be very interesting.
You actually do get to find out more about them in Dog Days.
Ooh,
Hey, talk about a
like all
sequel.
of them?
A prequel? Is that what it is?
Yeah, mostly a prequel that tells like the backstories of the of the dogs, and then it's also part sequel in that it shows the immediate aftermath of the main book.
Hmm. Gotcha. It just feels I felt like we moved through things so quickly that we didn't really get to know a lot of the characters in the book.
I know what you
I
mean.
feel like I think I read that that they got film rights for it. And I feel like this would work really well as a movie where or even like maybe even a television series. Maybe a series might be a
Disney?
little
Throw some
drawn
songs
out.
in? Okay.
Oh, I don't think Disney would touch this with a 10-foot pole. But
Although,
I'm
although
sorry,
I was
I was joking, but
I was actually thinking if it I was actually thinking if it did get adapted, it would work well with animation.
yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they animate it. Y'all remember those cringy movies from the 90s and 2000s where they had talking animals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had to like, lip sync them and
Yeah.
it's typically very weird.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do that. Like the Disney aesthetic I feel like is a lot of what makes this comic the way it is. Like the
Yes.
disarming Disney style combined with like these stark red and blacks you see on the cover and like the very what do you call it, alarming taxidermy we see in the guy's house. um Visual style is very important in this comic, and I do like that a lot. I just wish the story was a little more developed, but I feel like it just needs more time and space to be able to flesh that out.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I was actually going to say earlier that Earl's development was kind of an emotional roller coaster.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's like, first he seems okay, and then it's like, WTF, I hate Earl, and then WTF, I love Earl now.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those characters where you're like, this guy's so annoying and obnoxious. Then at the end, you're like, we stand Earl so much.
And at the end,
But
it's like,
No.
honestly, spoilers from this point on. But my favorite part of the whole comic was when we see the flashback where he's a puppy and he's brought home for the first time by the serial killer. We see all the dogs he got to meet, and then by the end of that chapter, you see all of their stuffed heads in the closet. You're like, ah.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay, nothing bad ever happened, it's fine. Even though it did.
I think what can also set the tone is like when like there's some swearing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yes.
again, disarming Disney style, and then swear.
I love the idea of dogs saying fuck.
It's fine, it was like 8 seconds, right?
Yeah, we're past that. We're past the Rachel barrier where she can curse all she wants now.
Like they decided to become more lenient again. But
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
you don't know.
Oh yeah?
That's what I've heard.
Well, there you go.
Listen, sometimes it's very important sometimes it's very important to drop an F-bomb, okay?
Okay. I also like how it plays with dogs having short-term memory. Because,
Oh.
they're
Yes.
like building up to something, and then the next day, like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. What?
Yeah.
That kind of threw me a little bit, but that's explained in the book, so
Yeah.
can't read it
Yeah, it's
too fast.
interesting.
Yeah. But then, yeah, I just it's neat to see the dogs finally kind of rise up and take control of themselves.
Yeah.
Instead of just being kind of, well, the guy feeds us, blah blah blah. They seem to have a kind of a cushy deal going as long as they stay in line.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, they kind of take control. And they know the situations. They figure out finally that it's really a bad situation and
Yeah.
help bring him down. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other thoughts about it?
This one gets a good out of 10. Good.
I will say, it was one of the few books that threw me in for a loop. Trevor, I appreciate you, but why? No, I'm kidding.
What the hell? You know. All right. So, we think we're kind of done talking about this book.
I think so.
So, I guess the next choice is Julia's.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is me.
And so you've been, I'm sure, planning this out for days. Which book? Okay.
It'd be okay if you give me. That was an excellent question. Is it all right if I get back to you in a couple days? Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, so it's pending.
Pending, and then we'll decide
Pending.
based on what it is.
be
when we do the
determined.
next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Like
have a
real
good.
days,
Like
not-
I have a couple.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, actually,
No, it's a couple of days.
no. I'm thinking about it now. Hold on, 1 second. Sorry.
Gotta look at the bookshelf.
Yeah. What have I already read? What do I already have? Oh yeah. That's good.
No, because
The viewers at home, let us know in the comments what you thought of Stray Dogs.
Of
You read it
course.
along with us.
that's right.
That would be sweet. If
no,
somebody would.
because okay. So there are actually 2 books I got it recently. So I have two options we can choose from. One is no one's read it, Made in Abyss,
Oh,
Ooh.
first
Good
volume.
one.
Okay.
Sorry, it's reflecting on my screen.
Yeah.
right.
Or if you guys remember the old books, Cirque du Freak by Darren Shan. Did you guys ever read that growing up?
No.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar to me.
There is a manga adaptation of that one.
Okay.
If you guys remember the story of
Ooh.
Cirque du Freak.
Never heard of it.
So
Oh, here. It's not just me. Okay.
so
So
want to do Eeny Meeny?
which one would you recommend?
One is significantly chunkier.
That's fair. Okay, you know what? Since I haven't read this either, Made in Abyss. I haven't read it yet, so it'll be an experience for all of us.
Okay.
Plus, I've heard
Let's do it.
good things. I've heard good things about it. So
Okay.
let's go.
So the whole.
But Paul and I have actually been watching the dub of the Made in Abyss anime, so that
Oh,
could be interesting.
let's go.
All right. So. And the idea is to read the whole. This is volume 1.
Yes, this is volume 1.
Okay, so we'll all read volume 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're reading volume 2.
Yeah, that's really funny. Anyway.
All right. So if you are watching this on YouTube and you like this, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and as Rachel said, leave a comment below if you have any thoughts about Stray Dogs.
Right. All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And Trevor Hankins.
I'm Rachel Wells.
And I'm Julia Cannon.
And you've been on the air with Power Squared.
Bye.